This next one is one that I know has gotten a lot of investor interest, and also something that is a really, really interesting product. I think you're going to want to hear about it. I know they have at least one product. Maybe we'll hear if they have any more here in a sec. Bring it on, Wrap Technologies. And there is Tom Smith. He's CEO at Wrap Technologies. It's ticker WRAP. You guys got a really nice ticker there, Wrap. It just matches your company name. It's super easy.
It makes it simple. I can't forget it.
How's your day going?
It's going awesome. How about you?
It's going well. What's that in the background you got there?
That is Phoenix, Arizona. That's where we're based. And that's that we're about to have our first rain day, which is why I'm wearing the turtleneck in Arizona, because we don't get a lot of those. We haven't had them in like 3 months.
Well, I hope you enjoy the rain. I hope it's all that it is cracked up to be. I'll let you take it away. I imagine you got a nice, exciting presentation here.
We do, and I appreciate you guys having us on, and thank you. And we'll try and leave a little time at the end if there's a few questions that come through. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, and our attorneys always like to make sure they're a part of the presentation. So while you read that, a quick background, I started Taser with my brother back in 1993. So my entire career has been spent really in this space, working with law enforcement and helping solve these very challenging issues that are facing not only the U.S., but literally worldwide. And so when you kind of look at the company, we're very uniquely positioned because we did focus very early on our patent protection. Our inventor, Woody Norris, one of the founders, has been involved in this area for quite a while. Very prolific inventor. So we have a lot of patents that we'll talk about. And we have a very, very experienced management team. Again, my whole career has been spent in this space. We'll talk about that later in the presentation. But it's very critical because working with law enforcement, they don't move fast. And that's something that's super critical to have people that are very experienced in this space, which has allowed us to see rapid growth in a 2 short year period since we launched our product in the summer of 2019 officially, and now to be in 50 countries around the world. It's very, very exciting. And we continue to invest heavily in product development. We recently just launched our 2nd generation of our BolaWrap platform, as well as we'll talk about our Wrap Reality that's really creating a technology platform to help law enforcement deal with these changing situations. And it's helping to broaden our reach. We have over 3,250 instructors now trained who are those subject matter experts in 50 countries around the world. Very solid market cap, but most importantly, we have a very strong balance sheet, nearly $40 million in the bank as of the end of the 3rd quarter, allowing us to invest that wisely as we look to the future, and a very strong shareholder base. A lot of those shareholders, too, are the ones that use our police officers that use the product during their day job. So what I'm going to do real quick is play a video. It's about 1.5 minutes, and it's from our launch that we did in October on our 2nd generation technology. And then we'll come back and we'll talk more about the BolaWrap and Wrap Reality right after this video. You know, I've talked many times, as probably all of you have seen, that Spider-Man doesn't wrap just one time. He wraps multiple times. And while our engineer staff has been working on this for over a year, it is something we're really excited about, and it is available to ship now. Spider-Man would be proud.
Police from around the region gathered in Berks County to get a look at new technology that aims to keep officers safe by letting them restrain people from a distance.
Police use of force has been a controversial topic for so many years across the country, but there's a new piece of technology that local officers of a local Maryland town are using, and they say it could help de-escalate a tense situation.
Defiance police have a new device that they say can help bring suspects in crisis and officers to a more peaceful resolution.
This is a tool police officers have never had before.
It is called the BolaWrap.
The new tech is called BolaWrap.
Here it is. It's called the BolaWrap. Deputies say that they can use this to safely de-escalate a dangerous situation.
It is called the BolaWrap. The non-lethal device has been called a life-saving tool for officers across the country.
So this is the BolaWrap. It's something we're very excited about. It's our 2nd generation. The BolaWrap 150 was just launched on October 12th after we used our first 2 years with Gen 1 to really establish the market. It's a very simple one-handed device you see there in the center of the screen that once you power it on, we are now completely electronic, so we can give a green LED telling the officer it's ready to deploy. And once they put the laser on the individual, then and they press the activation button, it uses our single-use cassette that snaps inside the front of the BolaWrap 150 and launches out a 7.5-foot Kevlar cord that goes and entangles the individual that you saw around my legs 9 times that my engineers truly enjoyed. And it also really highlights one of the unique features. This is the only tool available to law enforcement that doesn't rely on pain compliance. And in fact, the more you use it, the safer it is for the suspect and the individual. Because I can tell you, it took me about 10 minutes to get out of those 9 wraps. Again, that's safer for the officer. It's safer for me not being able to struggle or walk. And then again, once it's been deployed, you snap that single-use cassette out of the front of the device and replace it with another one, and it's ready to go. We also partnered with carrying holster options. Obviously, if you look at law enforcement today, getting belt space is a challenge. So we provide leg holsters, thigh holsters, belt holsters, MOLLE vest. So all kinds of different carrying opportunities to carry this device. And again, I had mentioned at the top, the intellectual property. We have 14 patents issued around this technology. So very excited about that, because it's also in 55 countries that we've been able to protect the hard work that our engineering teams have been doing. So the issue that we're solving for law enforcement is, what do you do between verbal skills and using all those other pain compliance tools that are available to them to stop somebody if you don't want to hurt them? And we fill that gap between those verbal skills and having to use pain compliance like a baton, taser, pepper spray, ultimately a firearm. And that gap that gets filled by the BolaWrap is the only tool available that doesn't rely on hurting somebody to stop them. I've watched it firsthand where my mom had Alzheimer's and she attacked my dad, and they had to call 911 to come. And when police show up, you don't want them to hurt that loved one, because too many times we've all seen those viral videos that show up and really they're career ending for the officers. They destroy the families and really tear apart the communities. And if we can solve those scenarios, it's really going to have a tremendous impact, because this is a huge issue facing law enforcement globally. And, you know, we call them people in crisis, whether it's from alcohol, drugs, mental illness. Law enforcement are usually the first de facto responder, social services to show up on these scenarios. And we want to provide a technology to help them solve that without hurting them, with maintaining a safe distance. Because a lot of times when force gets used, if people don't agree with it, it becomes very expensive to us, the taxpayers, literally costing us billions of dollars. And that's because people will challenge that use of force, so that it was used incorrectly. And then again, it's a huge, huge expense that if we can show we can reduce that litigation liability, it's a very quick return on investment for the communities and justifies the cost for agencies to buy this equipment and have their officers to carry it and earn that spot on the belt. It's a very large market that we're addressing. 80% of law enforcement in the U.S. out of 18,000 agencies is spread out among agencies with 100 officers or less. So 900,000 officers in the U.S. and 80% of them are in agencies less than 100 officers. So they're very small departments that have a tremendous impact. International market is 12 times the size of that. I knew it was going to be a huge opportunity for us from my previous life. So my second day at RAP, I was on an airplane going overseas. And that has really been a majority of our business up to date. And I believe it's going to continue to stay that way, just because it's such a large market. And then you start to look at military, you look at private security and other opportunities for us down the road. It's a large $6 billion market from a few years ago, doubling in size to nearly $12 billion in the next couple of years. So we have a huge, huge market opportunity in front of us that we're addressing. And of course, it's always on the news. You can't turn on TV today without seeing something about the next viral video or police action or a use of force case. It's all over the place. So when we are helping provide technology to solve and help challenge these solutions, we garner a lot of attention. We're very active on social media, very active in being covered in television. And now you're starting even to see us show up in our favorite TV shows like CSI, they're actually starting to show BolaWrap being used. So we are making a difference. And again, in a space that moves very slowly, which is law enforcement, they don't adopt technology quickly. It's very exciting for RAP to have a position there. You know, the last technology that really came into use of force was the taser that I did with 20 years ago. And here we are now with the BolaWrap in over 600 agencies already around the United States. So it's great we have that kind of penetration, but we're in 640 plus agencies out of 18,000. So it's still very early days. But we are in 50 countries around the world as well. So that very large market opportunity that I talked about, we're already making a lot of traction. It has been a majority of our business so far. And again, one of the things that we really like to talk about is RAP 2.0, that earlier this year, we made a change from educational confirmation to, or excuse me, from awareness to education. We had to make people aware of who we are for our first 2 years. Now we're educating them on how this is being used in daytime, nighttime, indoors, outdoors, walking, running, through the use of body cams that show the actual use of this technology in the field. And when you look at these small agencies, I can't emphasize enough, you know, you look at the names on here, Fruitland, Maryland, Virginia, Minnesota, LaGrange, Georgia. The reason that the small agency videos are helpful is because they can move the quickest through purchase, use, body cam capture, and sharing it with us to show everyone else, so that when we do this, you know, you're seeing a lot of these body cam uses right here. Why is this needed? Because it helps solve those very challenging situations that face law enforcement, and you can see it deployed on individuals in real life scenarios, walking through the street, presenting a danger to themselves and others, clearly in some type of a crisis. You don't want to have to hurt them. You just want to stop them, get them into custody, and get them the help that they need. And that's a critical aspect to this. And these body cams have just been instrumental for us in that educational campaign now that we're involved in. And we spent a lot of effort in highlighting on this and becoming educational with the agencies on how this device is being used. How we do that is through a distribution network that the BolaWrap is being used by 14 distributors around the U.S. that contact all 58 states. We have another 100 plus people out on the ground taking the BolaWrap to those small agencies so that they can see it. And that's how we have, you know, 640 different agencies already using it. But most importantly is that bottom number there in the middle, 3,250 instructors that are the subject matter experts to educate the communities, the police command staff, and their officers on how BolaWrap is used effectively, because any tool needs training, and that's a key aspect for us. Internationally, we have 50 countries with 44 distributors that work on an exclusive basis, because it's typically a decision made at a ministerial level. So it's a lot bigger opportunity, but it's also a lot slower to get to those agencies and get them. So it's challenging to make that. But we saw just this year in August, our then biggest order coming through, and then even a bigger one that we announced in November. So it can be lumpy, but it has been a majority of our business and represents a huge opportunity for us as we go forward. And BolaWrap is helping solve these problems around the world. So we're very excited about our other technology that's a virtual reality platform called Wrap Reality that is focusing on addressing those training issues. You hear training on our device and all the equipment that they have available. So through this fully immersive experience at Wrap Reality, we can train them not only on BolaWrap, but on all the tools they have available, be it a taser, a firearm, baton, pepper spray, but most importantly, verbal communication skills. We're really focusing and working with our clients and our customers to make sure that the officers can communicate effectively with somebody and de-escalate that scenario and be fully immersed in it. So it's from cadet through retirement that you want to have the officers that where instead of maybe they only show up for training once or twice a year, they're going to use Wrap Reality once or twice a week, if not more, to really get immersed in the training. And it's much more retention. We can accomplish in 30 minutes in virtual reality what could take 2 hours in a classroom, and they retain and are much more comfortable with that information as they go through all these different environments. So we can show them in a residential setting, a commercial setting. Again, we can change from daytime to nighttime. And within each of these settings, it's endless opportunities on the way the instructors want to teach them for all the tools that are available for those verbal communication skills. So we really, because when they're out on the street, it can go from 0 to a firearm use in a split second, but the vast majority of the cases end with just conversation, and the instructors are really going to help the officers do that through our Wrap Reality platform and all of these different creative environments that we're going to put them in so that they can understand how and when this is going to be used. Realize these real world issues are coming into the environment to train them and prepare them in a virtual reality setting so that when they're in the real world, it's second nature to them and they're very, very comfortable with it, and it helps better outcomes for everybody involved. We also are focusing on our environmental and being good corporate partners. Earlier this year, we went through ISO 9001 certification, and that led into our ESG initiatives, which is being a good corporate partner, making our investors aware of that. We put our first ESG letter out on August 9th of this year, so something that we're very excited. It's part of the culture and who we are. You can download that off of our investor relations website at wrap.com. And again, that's something that we'll continue to work on and publish and communicate. Even as we are focused on solving these social issues, we're very aware of the environmental and governmental aspects of the responsibility we have as a company, and it's who we are. So again, at a high level, in summary, over 40 million shares outstanding. A lot of those are still held by insiders. Very, very strong balance sheet, nearly 40 million on the bank on the balance sheet there. So very, very well positioned to be able to invest wisely. And again, a large shareholder base with a lot of those officers being the ones that carry our information or our product, but also invest in the company because they believe in what we're doing today. And finally, I mentioned our management team. Super excited about the team that we're building here. High level of experience with Jim Barnes and a technology background. Glenn Hickman joining as our COO after I worked with him over 10 years ago. Mario Knapp joining on September 1st as our Vice President of Training after retiring from the Miami-Dade Police Department in a 28-year career. Marcy Rigoni, who I worked with for over 20 years, helping on our most important asset, our human capital. Paul Manley, an incredible investor relations background, so contact him to stay aware of what we're doing as a company. Clark Deaver joining us on September 1st with his entire career been spent in virtual reality to head up that side of our business, something we're very excited about. And then Milan Surovic, I've worked with for 25 years, bringing an incredible talent to our research and development areas. And then internationally, which I talk about as a focus, Jags Gill living over in London, joining him with Becky Newman after retiring as a UK police officer. And then finally, somewhere we're focused on that everybody's talking about is supply chain, and having Kevin DeRosa join us to make sure that we're able to ship and manufacture these products and get them out there to help solve these real world problems. So something that we're very, very excited about. Again, Paul Manley's contact information. I invite you to reach out to contact Paul and talk to him so you can follow this very exciting story. And we really appreciate all of our investors and our time out there. And if you can't tell, it's something I'm very passionate about and very excited about. And, we're helping solve these very, very difficult problems that literally are in the media every day. And it's easy to complain about something. Wrap Technologies is providing solutions to actually solve these very challenging problems.
Absolutely can tell you're very passionate about it. And I mean, it's an extremely admirable thing what you and your team are doing, Tom. So appreciate you working with us today and appreciate you giving the presentation. Time for like a couple questions, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Love to talk to him.
Awesome. Yeah, the audience was pretty interested here. Question here: can a typical homeowner buy a bolo wrap?
Unfortunately, not yet. We are regulated under the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms National Firearm Act, is what they call any other weapon. And we do have our hands full today with law enforcement, but I can tell you we're working diligently in research and development. But right now we're trying to solve these high-level problems that police are facing with our communities.
Absolutely. And then a pretty interesting question, a good question from Glenn Hudson. Glenn saying, since you were introducing a new version of the bolo wrap, were there a lot of purchases delayed from the third quarter of this year, and therefore we will be filled in the fourth quarter with the new version?
Well, we didn't actually launch it until October, so it was within the fourth quarter.
Gotcha.
And we have had a lot of orders switch sight unseen from Gen 1 to Gen 2, which is obviously very exciting.
Interesting.
And again, with this not being a weapon, it's an arrest control device, something that's really needed and ends these situations early.
Absolutely.
And tremendous interest and feedback from our customers in a quick 40 days since we've really launched this technology.
Love to hear it. And then one more quick question. What's maybe an obvious question, but what's the military application for the bolo wrap?
Great question. It's a lot of military policing. And when you see more and more military, it's not like the old battlefield days, right? They're in amongst civilians, and you don't want them to make a mistake either. So let's give them an opportunity from military police or with civilian involvement to give something like this that doesn't hurt people, but yet lets them control someone.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for answering the questions. I hope the audience got some good insight there. Tom Smith, he's CEO at Wrap Technologies. It's ticker WRAP.
Thank you for having me. I love to be on with you, everybody, today.
Yes, sir. You have a good rest of your day.
You too. Take care.